next up we have Nico will tell us a study about adolescents and TikTok.
Yes, thank you very much. So my name is Nico Ebert from Zurich University in the canton of Zurich. And my question to you is, who is using TikTok regularly? Okay, this might explain why there are no studies on TikTok. Privacy researchers still research teens' privacy on Facebook, although there are no teens on Facebook anymore because they moved to Instagram and TikTok. And this is the reason why I wanted to start a privacy study on TikTok, also because I have a small daughter and she is also interested in digital devices, also because I wanted to use TikTok in the paid time of my work and also explore what TikTok is. So this is basically the result of a qualitative study on privacy management of teens on TikTok. So teens, TikTok, privacy is a very difficult relationship. It's a very difficult relationship. So it used to be another platform. There was struggle with the FTC. TikTok tried to improve something. So it's a very delicate relationship between these three parts. You might have read that Montana tried to, or they actually banned TikTok recently. TikTok now struggles with this quite hard. So it's very complicated. But the platform is extremely popular, also in Switzerland. For example, it's right behind Instagram, and it's basically on nearly every phone of a Swiss teenager you will find TikTok. So the focus or the question that we addressed with our study was like, how does privacy management of teens look like on this platform, with a special focus on videos. So we were not interested in how does TikTok store teens' data. We were also not interested in commercial aspects like tracking on TikTok. But our focus was really like, if you post a video on TikTok, like how do you manage your privacy? Because this is basically the core feature of this platform. And ever since there are social networks, online privacy of teens on social networks has been an issue. Interestingly, if you look into the literature, you find that researchers agree that teenagers are not totally naive when it comes to managing their privacy related to social aspects, meaning like, what do my friends and what do others see on this platform? This is an aspect of privacy management that seems to work very well. Unlike the aspect related to tracking and all these other kind of stuff. But when you look at social privacy management, you find also in the literature that teens have many different strategies how to protect their privacy. For example, they use fake names. They also fake their content called social steganography. They have different zones of privacy, so who is able to see what of my friends? So they perform really active privacy management, but the question is like, how is it on TikTok? Because there were no studies on TikTok, this is basically what we wanted to understand. So what we did was 54 interviews with teens one-on-one between 12 and 18 with parental consent in the canton of Zurich, 2 schools and some youth centers. And the interviews ranged from like 5 minutes to 21 minutes. One reviewer asked, why so short? I would love to reply, did you ever try to talk to a 12-year-old about privacy? It's quite a like difficult topic to talk to. Also some male participants have answered like yes, no, yes, no. So interviews can be really short. And the questionnaire or the theoretical framework is based on the COM-B. I will later tell you what this is. Focused on the video creation behavior. Kids got a shopping voucher, 20 francs, and you know right now that this is not a lot in Switzerland. So it buys you one lunch. Sounds a lot, is it not a lot? And we used first like COM-B, deductive coding, and afterwards thematic analysis. And they got a lot of guarantees for their privacy. So I told them, I'm not going to talk to your parents. I'm not going to talk to your teachers. I'm not going to use your name. So this is a private space. We also did it like at the schools in a separate room, in the youth center in a separate room. So there were a lot of privacy guarantees for teens. This is the theoretical lens. It's not a theory, it's a theoretical framework, meaning like the guys that built this framework to understand behavior and motivations used like many different theories, came up with a framework, and this is ideal to understand a specific behavioral context. So it's not like, let's use protection motivation theory. It's more like I want to really fully understand the context, and this is some kind of meta theory or theoretical framework which really helps. So we were interested in basically video creation behavior and privacy and capabilities that teens have, motivations, why do you protect your privacy in a video, and opportunity. Opportunity refers to external influences, social norms, but also like physical influences, for example, like capabilities or opportunities of the platform, user interface. That is what opportunity refers to the results. So when it comes to behavior, we classified teens into like 3 different categories. The first one we called public creators. They really post for everybody. So these are people that are really, really extrovert, at least from my opinion. They like post a lot of videos also regularly and want them also to, the whole world want to see their videos. So we had like 20% in our sample. Then there's an interesting category which we call private creators. These people also use TikTok regularly. They also create videos on TikTok, but they do not publish on TikTok. Because for them, TikTok is not a private space. They say, oh, this is a public space. So they create them in TikTok and use, for example, Snap or WhatsApp to share them with their friends. And then the last group, we call them pure consumers. That's basically the people like myself, like flipping through each of the videos. So some examples of proactive privacy management on TikTok. So I really good remember the public creator Lima. She had like 50 different accounts, and she was 14 years old. She had slept 2 hours when she came to the interview at 8 in the morning. So she was a really professional content creator, influencer. She had like different ages on each of the accounts, so she had multiple personas, if you want to say, really professional. Then I remember another person, and she, for example, actively blocks her parents away from her TikToks because the parents are also on TikTok, so you need to block them so that they don't see your content. And as I said before, we have these like private creators that use WhatsApp and Snapchat to share videos, also screen recordings to share videos on more private platforms. Capabilities. So what is really interesting about the platform is that or about the kids is that they have a high awareness of the algorithm and the prevalence of the app. So they know everybody on the schoolyard has the app. They also know like that the algorithm like pushes the content up that really peers sitting next to them post. Meaning, for example, one statement, if you post something here, it is immediately on the schoolyard. So they are really aware that posting something is not an anonymous procedure. What is also interesting is that a lot of incidents happen. Most of the people or kids that I talked to had like smaller incidents. There were also some bigger ones, but I'm talking about the smaller ones now. And these smaller incidents help to create capabilities. So TikTok, for example, has a very big publish button because it wants to encourage publication. And this is what happens. People in the beginning accidentally publish because they press the publish button. But they only do it once because afterwards they know, oh, I get comments also from friends, also on WhatsApp. So this really raises awareness that what publication means. Thanks. They also experience like negative feedback, which influences what they publish. And they, as I said before, realize that from the outside I can be easily linked to my like real life persona. Then I also talked to kids that told me that peers, parents, and teachers had a restrictive influence. So I don't post because my friends also don't post. Then to the, let's say, physical influences of the platform. So they all know the age verification doesn't work. They provide fake ages in order to use all the platform features, which is like totally irrational. They also know that the app features for privacy protection only work sometimes. So for example, they created like numerous workarounds. as I said, like audience management, multiple accounts with different audiences. Some of the accounts are private, others are not. Extraction of the TikToks from the platform. And, for example, one girl told me she also actively blocks TikTok app updates because she wanted to have the small publish button, which would be better for her privacy not to incidentally publish. Motivations for publication or non-publication. I don't want to be in public. I want to avoid negative emotions. Or some also said privacy is important to me, which we refer to as a privacy identity. So what did we learn? Also mirrored back to existing research. Teens performed an active privacy management. And what is a new insight is high awareness of the algorithm and the app prevalence. Also, this personal creator category is somehow new, which means basically it makes much more sense to look on a privacy management on the whole ecosystem of apps people are using. Maybe it's the same with ourselves. We're not thinking in this a narrow app view, but we have an app ecosystem, and some apps we consider as more private and others we consider as less private. They are very creative when it comes to workarounds, like extending the platform. And if you want to create interventions based on our learnings, it makes a lot of sense to build on teens' knowledge. So, for example, if you want to do something at school, I think we have learned quite a lot, which we can also basically tell other teens about how they can actively protect the platform. And also, if you have good contacts to TikTok, we have also some ideas how you can improve what's currently not working well. For example, blocking is not good. People lose videos forever on the platform. People lose their account, and TikTok will never answer their requests. So if you know somebody at TikTok, we are also happy to give some ideas how to improve the platform. Thanks.
Thank you for the great presentation. There are so many questions waiting for you in Zulip. I'll pick one that's I'm also curious to know. Do you come across some good resources that will be good for teenagers to learn how to start having accounts on social media?
So I didn't get to the last part.
So the question is about how teenagers can learn about starting to have accounts on social media. What are the resources you would recommend for them?
Privacy educational resources?
Yes.
I have a good source, TikTok. Because there are teens on TikTok that tell other teens how to do privacy management on TikTok. There are some users, for example, on TikTok that basically educate their peers.
Great. And then another question.
Sorry, there are also these official guides, but they are from a parent perspective. Stuff like use a private mode. Yeah.
Okay. Another question is, do you think TikTok intentionally fails at age verification for more content and consumption?
Good question. Could be. I'm not working in TikTok. Could be, yeah. But yeah, it's probably. But again, I mean, the question is, what is the alternative? That these kids should have basically pull out their passport every time they want to use it. So we, in the paper, we suggest maybe like better information in teen language to the teens, what kind of feature has what implications. So I'm not even sure if age verification is the best, because also my daughter, she wants to use it. Yeah.
And then another question, could you please explain in more detail how the coding of semi-structured interview was done?
Yes, so we first used this COM-B structure in order to basically say, is this more like a behavior? Is this more like a capability? Is this a motivational aspect? So we did a first round of coding doing this, and then within each of the categories, okay, this is behavior, we started like inductive coding, okay, let's cluster them in more like this is a non-publisher, this is a personal creator, this is a private creator. So first like top down and afterwards bottom up.
Okay, I think that's all time we have for questions, but thank you so much, Nico.